Minnesota Republicans want to boot out every House Democrat who has boycotted the session, now in its fourth week.
The state party launched an effort to have recall elections for all 66 Democrats in the chamber. As Caroline Cummings reports, that process is long and difficult.
The House will come to order.
Secretary of State Steve Simon on Tuesday again found no quorum in the Minnesota House and adjourned. Another day of session gone as Democrats continue to boycott amid a power dispute.
This isn't a political game. This is about governing.
That boycott is why the Minnesota Republican Party wants to oust all of them, kickstarting the steps needed for recall elections so voters can boot them out.
We were hopeful that common sense would prevail and that these lawmakers would realize the gravity of their actions and that this recall wouldn't be necessary. But here we are.
It's a long, difficult process that could take many months, and it's not guaranteed. To start, you need 25 signatures for each lawmaker, and the party says it's already met that threshold for half of the 66 DFL-held seats. But ultimately, the Supreme Court will decide if it can move forward at all before there's a special review process requiring even more scrutiny.
We are very confident that it'll go through the process. That's why we took as much time as we did to make sure we dotted the I's and crossed the T's.
In a statement, a spokesperson for the House DFL campaign said in part, quote, "The Republicans' recall effort is yet another attempt to create chaos and division to cover up their efforts to ignore Minnesota voters, steal elections they didn't win, and seize control of the House." Meanwhile, leaders in both parties have been meeting to try to negotiate a deal about how the chamber moves forward, which would get the Democrats back to the Capitol. And according to the Minnesota Legislative Reference Library, there have been 14 recall efforts in the past 20 years, but all of them have been dismissed by the courts. At the Capitol, Caroline Cummings, WCCO News.